Hey everyone, so today, I finally made it to the northeast part of LA. That's right, we are here in Highland Park. But first, let me get a little bit of coffee this morning. Got my cafecito? Let's go. And no, that's not a paid sponsorship. So let's talk about the early history of Highland Park. Now, if you guys remember my History of Glendale video, you guys would remember that Highland Park was once owned and belonged to the Verdugo family, and was part of Rancho San Rafael. Now, this part of the area would have multiple owners. Julio Verdugo was the last member of the Verdugo family to own the land. The Highland Park tract would be owned by two men, Andrew Glassell and Alfred Chapman. They would own the land until about the 1880s. The land would then be acquired by J.W. Morgan and Alfred Judson. Now, it is said that the area got its name Highland Park because in the springtime, the hills were lush and green, and it reminded people of the Highlands in Scotland. Hence the name Highland Park. But that's just a story. No one knows exactly for sure how the area got its name. Now in 1885, the area of Highland Park would begin to grow. And believe it or not, Highland Park was once a red light district, which pretty much means that this was an area where anything goes. Now, just 10 years later in 1895, the city voted to be annexed by the city of Los Angeles. Now this was mainly done for two reasons: water and safety. Now, as I mentioned before, Highland Park was a red light district. So joining the city of LA would now mean that they would have police patrolling the streets. The second reason, water, was because the city of Pasadena had diverted the water from the Arroyo Seco strictly towards Pasadena, so Highland Park had no access to water. So those were the two reasons why they joined the city of LA. Now in 1896, there was a special city commission charged with organizing the city streets. They considered numbered streets just like the city of LA, except for they would call them ways. They would later go on to change the street names from ways to avenues. So that street name change would become official in 1897. But because of the geography of this area, mapping it out became a problem. Streets that were never meant to intersect were intersecting. And the numbering of the avenue streets would begin just east of the LA River in Lincoln Heights. And one would figure that it would start with number 1. But no, it wasn't the case. It would start with number 16, oddly enough. The avenue street numbers would go from 16 through 66. And speaking of street names, North Figueroa Street, like the one I'm on, was previously Pasadena Street. And this bowling alley right here was built in 1927. It's the oldest bowling alley in the city. And during the Prohibition era, people would walk up to the second floor of that building to get a doctor's permit to drink alcohol. It was renamed to Mr. T's Bowl in 1966, after it had been bought by Italian immigrant Joseph Teresa. And in the northeast section of Highland Park, there's an area called Garvanza, which is right off of York. And it was named Garvanza because back in the day, the Verdugo family would grow garbanzo beans.